I want to welcome you to week 10, and I just want to say that I think that many of you are keeping up well. Some of you are still struggling, and that's all right. All right in the sense that I just want to say that if you, especially those of you that have been in communication with me, just hang in there. So I do want to encourage some of you, if you can, just to kind of keep pushing yourself. We're almost done. We got really 2 more months, maybe a little bit less than that, and this class is over. You have been exposed to so many things of Western culture. Now, I happen to, over the years, I've really embraced a kind of love of Norse culture, in which the Vikings were a part of. Maybe I'd say Norse culture and Scandinavian culture, or Nordic culture, more than Vikings. Vikings were, kind of rough gangsters, maybe you can even say thugs in many ways. But it's the Vikings who end up spreading, making this Nordic life kind of a topic, and they spread. They have quite a bit of influence on the modern world, more than maybe they really should, or I don't know, in many surprising ways. And I don't know if you fully have comprehended that, and I just thought I wanted to emphasize that to you. And then I posted some announcements showing how certain modern and neo-pagan movements have embraced the Viking Nordic themes. But then I also posted one thing about white supremacists and Norse culture. And this is a reality that is out there that you just have to be aware of. That in fact, loving anything Western now is, many white nationalists they have a lot of vlogs trying to educate you on interesting aspects of Western culture as a way to kind of seduce you and say, well, look how great our culture is. Why would we want to lose that to these refugees or other minority groups? And that's certainly not my politics. I do think that there is a value in preserving aspects of European culture, certainly, but I'm always going to make a very strong statement against any kind of political trend that claims that one group of people can only be preserved by hurting another group of people, and that goes from many different sides. And so that's a whole other topic. I'm not here to push a particular set of politics. I'm just I have to bring this up because these set of topics that I'm now bringing up are so much incorporated into political topics now. I'm going to post underneath a video, a little short lecture. It's very academic by a cowboy scholar, a real academic on Norse mythology and Vikings and actually Germanic history and all sorts of things. I believe he actually did work on the Frozen, a little bit of help with some aspects of the animation flick that all the little girls like. And I say that because I worked at the kids center for a while, and every little girl was singing all those songs all the time from Frozen. But I think he did some work from that. He's a really, if you really do like Viking or Norse culture, he's a great, real academic guy who has these vlogs. And he explains a lot of things. So I'm putting the one on Ragnarok because there's the new Thor movie on Ragnarok. And you might find that interesting. But he goes deep and very academic. So he might lose some of you, but at the same time, you'll really, you'll learn a lot if you want to, follow his vlogs. I just thought I would recommend this. I have this book. It's called Norse Mythology: A Guide to Gods, Heroes, Rituals, and Beliefs by John Lindo. He's a professor at University of California, Berkeley. This is a really scholarly study of Norse mythologies. Now, one that's interesting, not an easy read, but very much kind of showing you how Vikings have, the interpretations of Vikings have gone through several waves of trends. And that's kind of fascinating in of itself. I mean, here we have now, people in love with like the Thor cartoon character, and you have modern neo-pagans, and then you have these white nationalists, and now like Vikings is, Vikings are a topic now, like one way or the other. And yep, they became a topic as well in the British Isles. This book I read called The Vikings and the Victorians by Andrew Wan. This is also a scholarly one. He is professor of Anglo-Icelandic Studies at the University of Leeds, or at least at the time of this being published. And the subtitle is Inventing the Old North in 19th Century Britain. It's fascinating. But again, not a super easy read, but if you find all these topics interesting, I recommend. And then I have the documentary on the Icelandic sagas, the Viking sagas. Those are very readable. Also something I recommend. And the Eddas, which I also mentioned in my lectures. Okay, so those are things that you can find interesting. I do want to point you in the direction of academia, in the sense that there are many kind of conspiratorial, invented histories about all of this that are just kind of like, well, they're very misinformed. And so you might as well work with people who really have dedicated a lot of study to them and have some sort of like at least kind of help ground you a little bit better on this topic. So anyways, that's all I wanted to lastly say on that. Feel free to contact me about anything else if you get a chance, and we'll be in touch. I hope all of you are having a great week. Peace be upon you.